Hey gamers, so in today's video we're going to be ranking all of the F-Zero games because I actually have played all of them. Like, I think technically speaking, we do have F-Zero AX or whatever, which is kind of like a version of F-Zero GX before the arcade, which I haven't played. I'm going to count that as a separate thing. I don't know, but we got the ranks here. We got S, A, B, C, D, and then not played there. This was made by Aaron or Aaron, whatever, however you want to say it. But yeah, check him out. But yeah, let's just get our ranking. Oh, and also, you know, this was last modified last year in 2024, right before Christmas. So yeah, it's pretty up to date with, of course, having F-Zero 99, which is gonna go in S tier. I mean, this is like the best F-Zero game, in my humble opinion. Spoiler alert. It is the game that really got me interested into the franchise. I did play a little bit of F-Zero SNES, you know, the original one, and also X, you know, the N64 one. But overall, I didn't really get into them until F-Zero 99, where I got invested into the series, you know? I love this game, you know? I love the free updates they do. I love the battle royale type thing, you know, with the 99 players. It's just so good. A lot of people count it as like not a real F-Zero game, and I don't understand why. Like, it literally is, you know, just because it's based on the framework of the original F-Zero game on the SNES doesn't make it lesser than, you know? It makes the SNES game way, way, way better, which I think, spoiler alert, when we get to that, is probably going to be the lowest ranking F-Zero game. But this improved it in every single way, you know? I just love this game so much. It deserves more praise than it gets. But of course, we got F-Zero AX here, which is like an arcade version of GX. I'm gonna count it as a separate thing, but I think it's basically the same game, just with like some things changed around, like with the unlockables or whatever. But you know, just for clarity's sake, I'm gonna count it as a separate thing. But then we have F-Zero Climax, which is this the second or third F-Zero game on the Game Boy Advance? I don't exactly know. Either way, they're very similar to me. I do think Climax, again, I don't remember if it's the second or third one. I think the third one is GP Legend. Whatever, they're kind of interchangeable in that they're both pretty good games. They take more inspiration from F-Zero X and GX, while the original game for the Game Boy Advance, Maximum Velocity, that game takes more inspiration from F-Zero SNES. Still a good time, but overall, these are pretty good games. They're pretty fun. God, I don't know, man. Okay, nope, I goofed. These two are pretty even. I could flip-flop between them. I think Climax is the third one, the Japanese one. Looking at the box art now. GP Legend is the one with the story mode, which I do appreciate. So I'm gonna say high A tier for now. As always with these tier list videos, I might change my mind later. But yeah, I think that's what I'll go. F-Zero GX. Now, I did a video of this yesterday where I basically was complaining about this game. I'm gonna say C tier for now because this game has a lot of issues, you know? I think it's way too difficult for its own good. I do think it's kind of weird how the story mode in this game, I do like that there's a story mode, but you have to unlock it with tickets, and you can only get tickets, or at least a large amount of them. I don't think you can back out of the menu, you know, when you select a cup. At least I couldn't find an option. Maybe I missed it. But yeah, there's just a lot of things that I don't really care about this game. Not to say it's not fun. It is still F-Zero, you know, at its core. It's pretty fun, you know, all things considered. I like it a lot, even if it does have a lot of issues. I just think it's probably the weakest F-Zero game, or at least one of them, in my opinion. And it's also especially jarring to me because lots of people consider it to be the best game in the franchise, when F-Zero 99 is right there. Like, come on, man. So yeah, I'm gonna say C tier for now, but I might change my mind later. We got F-Zero X, which I actually think is better than F-Zero GX. So I'm gonna say B. By the way, I should clarify in saying that these are all relative, like, in the franchise. Like, if I put a game in, like, C or D tier, that does not mean it's, like, bad, you know? Like, I think it's one of the worst games of all time. I just, like, am judging it based on the other F-Zero games, you know? Like, I think GX is better than some other games, you know, I would consider to be like bad or mediocre, you know. It's like a step above those games, but like, you know, in terms of the franchise, I think it's lower. But yeah, anyway, F-Zero X, it's a pretty good time. I like it. Before F-Zero 99, it was the game that I played the most in the franchise, with like 2 hours or whatever. When it was added for the Switch Online service, I played it for 2 hours and I enjoyed it, but I didn't go back into it until F-Zero 99 came out, and then I played it eventually even more after, you know, playing that game. And it's still pretty good, you know, I enjoyed it. Not much else to say. I really liked it, you know. I kind of wish they had the, what was it, the Satellaview version, because of it having Rainbow Road from Mario Kart, which would be neat to have, but no, sadly they don't have that on Switch Online. But hey, this is still a good version. Now we got Maximum Velocity, which I'm gonna say, I wanna say, it's the weakest of the Game Boy Advance games, because I don't think I mentioned this, but these two games, they have the spin attack thing, you know, and again, they take more inspiration from F-Zero X and ZX, which have more advanced mechanics, which I really do appreciate, while this takes more inspiration from F-Zero SNES, which I like, but still, it's like, you know, it sucks that there's a lot of things that are missing, you know, such as the spin attack. Also, I think the boost is the same thing as SNES, where you get a boost every single lap, right? While these two, again, follow the other games, you know, which I think is kind of weaker. So I'm gonna say maybe low B, but it is close with F-Zero X, you know. I do like it still. Okay, but now we got the last game before I decide to maybe reorganize this list. We got F-Zero SNES, the original one. For variety's sake, I kind of want to say D tier. Not that it's bad, mind you. It's not bad. But it is very, very basic, you know, in terms of the franchise. Which makes sense, you know. A lot of first games in a lot of franchises, you know, are not very good. Or at the very least, they're not, you know, that innovative or impressive for what came after, you know, stuff like Mario Bros, you know, that game, you know, it started it all, blah blah blah, but like, looking at it, it's not the best game in the franchise, obviously. The same thing goes for F-Zero, you know. I do appreciate the framework it built for, of course, the rest of the franchise, and especially F-Zero 99, you know, where the game is like based on it. But F-Zero 99 makes the SNES game way obsolete, in my opinion. I mean, even ignoring the fact of the 99 Racers, this game has an homage to F-Zero, the original one, with the classic mode thing, which adds, you know, borders and the classic get a boost after every lap thing, where you can also race with real people, and, you know, like, basically it includes the original F-Zero game on this already, plus the 99 stuff. So I think this game is kind of obsolete, you know. Plus, it's just so primitive, you know. I do appreciate it, especially with its music. The music is amazing in this game. You know, the music is amazing in all the F-Zero games, but I think especially the SNES, and of course by extension F-Zero 99, has the best music, you know. And I'm not even a person that grew up with that classic era. I just really like that music. So, you know, tip to the hat to the original game. But overall, I think, yeah, I'm gonna say D tier. But again, that doesn't mean it's like the worst game ever made, you know. I still think it's pretty fun, but looking at it objectively, and of course with the rest of the franchise, I think it's the weakest one. But I think that's gonna be it for the tier list. But of course, let me see if I should reorganize stuff. Honestly, I think I want to actually put F-Zero X higher. I think it's actually one of the better games, in my humble opinion. And you know what? I feel like, wait a minute. I think it's too low, F-Zero, the original one. We could have no D tier. That would be an interesting thing. I like to usually fill out, you know, all of the things, but maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. Honestly, I kind of like this tier list more. You know, I basically moved things up a peg because I feel like this makes more sense in my opinion. Even though I literally just said, you know, F-Zero, the original one on SNES, it's kind of hard to talk about, you know, a lot of first games in various gaming franchises, you know, just have the franchise title in them. It's kind of a mouthful to say, oh, the first game or the one for this console, you know, so I apologize for keep saying F-Zero, SNES or original one or whatever, but it's literally just called F-Zero. What else am I supposed to call it? Anyway, tangent aside, even though I did say that the game is the weakest one of the franchise, I feel like it is still too harsh to say it's D tier, even though, again, I said also that it's based on the rest of the franchise, not like overall like gaming franchises, you know, if that makes sense. So honestly, I think it fits to have the original one be C tier, and then after that is GX, which is better, but it still has a lot of issues in my opinion, followed by Maximum Velocity, which is a good time and a good improvement of the original SNES game. But, you know, it's kind of limited compared to the two sequels that came after for Game Boy Advance, with GP Legend being the top one because it has a story. Climax is in Japanese, but it's still pretty good. You know, you could understand and play it pretty well, even if you don't speak it. And F-Zero X is pretty good, in my opinion. Technically the one that, you know, I played the most before F-Zero 99, which of course this is going in S tier, you know, it's staying up there. So yeah, no D tier, and of course not played. AX, if I had to count it, I would probably say, again, it's like basically the same thing as GX, right? You know, just some of the unlockables are different, you know, the way they work or whatever. So I don't know, probably put it lower below GX, but higher above F-Zero SNES, even though I haven't played it. But anyways, I think that's going to be it for my ranking of the F-Zero games. Feel free to check out, again, Aaron, however you want to say his name. But yeah, this is actually the first tier list where I play like every single game, basically. So yay me! You know, I'm pretty happy about that. But if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, play some Xenoblade, and I'll catch you all next time for more. Peace. Bye, everyone.